Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? The Great Northern Plan. There is an important. The Great Northern Plan here. This plan extends from to the west to the east, between to Himalaya in the north and Great Indian Plateau in the south. The plan extends from to the arid and semi-arid area of Rajasthan in the west to be Brahmaputra Valley in the east. There is important here Rajasthan in the west and Brahmaputra Valley in the east. The area of this plan is the more than 7 lakh square kilometer. This area of this plan is more than 7 lakh square kilometer. 7 lakh square kilometer is important here, and this plan is very fertile and a very sizable part of the Indian population live in the reasonable village and several big cities in this region. There is an important part here. Rajasthan is the best to be Brahmaputra Valley in the east, and the area of this plan is a more than 7 lakh square kilometer, and this plan is a very fertile and a very sizable part of the Indian population live in the is a numerable village and several big city in this region. This plan is made up of the soil brought down and deposited by their river flowing from to the Himalaya in the north and the Great Indian Plateau in the south. The river has been to the depositing their sediment in the plan over million of years, and therefore aluminiums in the plan in quite a few hundred meter deep. In a sum of the part of the depth of the sediment is such as 2000 to the 3000 meter. There is stabilism important here, and this plan is almost dead flat. You know that there is important here. This plan is almost dead flat. Its average height is a 200 meter above the mean sea level. This is important here. 200 meter above the means of sea level here, and due to the very gently slope to about the sea. The river in this plan flow very is leisurely and it is a time was leisurely. This is important point here. Where is lazy and there is a slightly there is an important. The slope from the Varanasi up to the Mao is a month of Ganga is the only 10 centimeter per kilometer. There's important here. The slope from Varanasi up to month of Ganga is only 10 centimeter per kilometer. The land around the Ambala is a bit more elevated, and however it is act as a water divided between the two major river basin here. The first, the Satluj in the west and Ganga is the east. The basin is important here. Satluj in the west and Ganga is the east. River lining of state what of this water divided flow into the Bay of Bengal, while those west of its flow into the Arabian Sea. The important here, the river lining the state ward of this water divided flow into the Bay of Bengal, while those west of its flow into the Arabian Sea. The relatively is a higher part of the plan is called Bhangar. The relative higher part of plan is called Bhangar, and this area is a neighbor to the cover with the flood water of river. There is an important area. This area is a neighbor cover with the flood water of the river. Contrast this is a comparatively lower area is called Khadar. The lower area is called to the Khadar, and this area is flooded by stream almost every year. Khadar is are known as the bit in a Punjab. Important point here, the relative higher part of the plant is called to the Bangar, and this area is a neighbor to cover with the flood water is the river. There is an important, and here Khagar is the contrary of this is a comparative lower area is called Khadar. The lower area is called to the Khadar, and this is a flooded stream almost every year. The important point here, and Khadar is the area is a known as a belt is a Punjab. There is the strip of land about 10 to 50 kilometer. There is important. There is a strip of plan about 10 to 50 kilometer broad along their outer slope of the Shivalik in a Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. There is important here. The 10 to 50 kilometer bordered along to the outer slope of the Shivalik in the Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. And this region is known as the Bhabar. Bhabar there is called here. And this stream is a Bhabar. Bhabar is made of the grapes as a coarse sand. The smaller streams disappear under growth in the Bhabar region during the summer season, and there are water surface again after crossing to the Babar, and this water is accumulated in the strip of the plan about 15 to 30 kilometer wide and extended to the south of Bhadabar. An accumulation of this water make the land marshes, and the marshes is the land is called to the Terai, and many part of the Terai is has been to reclaim for the agriculture purpose. That is important here. The part of Terai is has been to the reclaimed for the agriculture purpose. The great northern plains can be divided into four parts. This is important here. The Great Northern Plan can be divided into four parts: Base Plan, Northern Central Plan, Eastern Plan, and Brahmaputra Plan. There is a four part is most important, and here explain here. The first here, Western Plan. Western Plan here, this region is include the Rajasthan desert and Bhagar regions. Line to west of Aravallis range is important here. The desert is a partly is rocky and partly is a sandy. The rocky and sandy. In this ascent period, the peninsula is streams Saraswati and Dvatis is a flowing through the region. There is important here Saraswati and there is Dvati is flow through this region, and this region include to the fertile area of the Bikaner, and rivers Luni flow through. This is a Bengal region and fall into the runners of the Katancha. There are famous saltwater lake of Sambar is situated in this part of the plan. There is an important part here. And northern central plan is also important. This plan extends over to the Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. The part of this plan is extending into Punjab and Haryana has been to the formed by the aluminum through by the river Satluj, Vyas, Ravi. There is an important here river of here Satluj and Vyas and Ravi, and this is a very fertile area is here. And this part of this plan is a lining of Uttar Pradesh is made up of the deposit laid down by the river like Ganga, Yamuna, is a Ram, Ganga and Gomatri, Ghagra and Gandak. There is the most important river flow in the Uttar Pradesh: Ganga, Yamuna, Ram Ganga, Gangotri, Ghagra and Gandak. This part of land is a highly fertile and has been to cattle Indian civilization in culture. There is the most important area here. And the next year, Eastern Plan. The Eastern Plan is the most important here. This part of the Great Plan cover their middle and the lower Ganga valleys lying in the state of Bihar and West Bengal. Okay, there is important here. This part of the Great Plan is to cover the middle and the lower Ganga valley lying in the state of Bihar and West Bengal. Ganga flow through the middle of this plan is Bihar, and Ghagra is a Koshi and Gandak joined to Ganga from the north and will sun joined to the south. There is important here. The Ghagra, Koshi and Gandak joined to Ganga from to the northern will the sun join for the south. On the entering of West Bengal, the plan is abandoned further extending from the foothill of the Himalayas up to the Bay of Bengal. And this southern part of the plan is the delta region. This southern part of plan is the delta region. Ganga is divided into the several distributaries in the delta region. Hooghly is the best example of distributary of Ganga. Hooghly is there a best example of distribution of Ganga here, and this part of plan is needed very fertility and more raining here. This is important. The fertility area are more rainy. The next year, Brahmaputra plan. Brahmaputra is most important here. Brahmaputra, there is the northern eastern part of the Great Indian Plain extend into the Assam. And this plain has been formed by the deposition of elements is both down by the river Brahmaputra and it is a tributaries. The Brahmaputra is a highly prone to the devastating flood at the regular interval. After the flood, the river generally changes into the course, and this process has led to the formation of various islands in the river. Majuli, the 1,250 square kilometer in the Brahmaputra River is the world as the largest river in the Iceland, and this part is also very fertile. It is surrounded by hill from three sides. Bangladesh is situated on this plain and the delta joined from it by the Ganga and Brahmaputra and there are distributaries. Here the important here box, important point arrive their conclusion types. The Great Northern Plain has been formed by aluminum deposit and both their rivers flowing from two Himalayas and Great Indian Plateaus. And the plain is a dead flat with the almost negligible slope. The plain is of the two types of Bhangar and Khadar. There is an important here. The Great Northern Plain can be divided into four parts. West Plain, North Central Plain, Eastern Plain and Brahmaputra Plain. There is an important here.